Hello, beautiful people. It's time for the video of the week. How do you feel when people start talking behind your back? When people start gossiping lies behind your back? Or how does it feel when somebody tells right in your face something that you're doing wrong? Do you get defensive? Do you get offended? Today's message, we're going to talk about 3 strategies on how to handle criticism. All right. So recently in my professional life, as I am putting more myself out there, as we start growing our company, and as different media outlets start noticing us and giving us awards for our accomplishments, I have been experiencing a lot of criticism. And at the beginning, I didn't know what to do because I was not really prepared for it. Usually the criticism that I used to get is from my mentors, from the people that love me, when they tell me what am I doing wrong to their eyes to see if I can fix it. But people talking behind my back, I know it has happened before, maybe in high school, maybe in university, but it's not something that I experience regularly in my life. So when I started seeing criticism about me or about my achievements, online especially, I didn't know what to do. So after a couple of years of learning and growing, we have been being criticized for at least about 5 years now. I have been able to develop 3 strategies on how to handle that, so that is always a positive reinforcement in my life and not something that is going to take me down. So let's find out what can we do when we experience criticism. Okay, so 3 strategies, very simple. Strategy number 1, you have to analyze what type of criticism that is. Is it positive or is it negative? To find out if it's positive or negative, there is a beautiful filter. All you have to do is see where the criticism is coming from and what's the intention behind. If it comes from love, its intention is to build you up, is to make you a better person. If it comes from fear, which by the way, fear can be disguised in many emotions, especially in anger, especially in jealousy. Anger, jealousy, gossiping, all that is fear. Fear from the person who's initiating that. So if it comes from fear, you can identify that the criticism is to actually hurt you. And why will they want them to hurt you? Because in their level of consciousness, their consciousness is so low that is the only thing that they can do to make themselves feel a little bit better. So the most important thing to do at the beginning of an critic attack is to identify it. Is it good or is it bad? And if it's good, then you have to analyze what the criticism is about, so you can take the lesson and try to apply it to your life. Sometimes I've been criticized for something that I did because the person didn't know the entire context of my actions. So if the criticism comes from love, the person who's criticizing you will give you the time to explain you why they think the way they think. So once you sit down, it could be a mentor, could be your spouse, a family member, a coworker. Once you sit down with that coworker and you analyze that it comes from love and they are explaining to you why they are giving you that advice or that criticism, then you can start constructing in your mind the lesson so you can apply it to your life and actually apply it and start changing. Now, if they didn't have the entire context of your actions and then in your conversation you clarify that, it may be that they didn't know any better. And they will apologize immediately if the person loves you. Or they will say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that this is why you did this. All right, so that's number 1. Strategy number 2, never take anything personal. Never take anything personal. The problem with with us is that we have this amygdala that is trying to protect us all the time from that hungry tiger in the jungle. So we always are going towards a fight or flight response before we can even analyze what's going on. So the first thing we need to realize is that we have this natural reaction to protect ourselves. But if it's a criticism that you're dealing with, you have the time to put your frontal cortex involved and analyze. And realize that it's not personal. Whether it's positive or negative, the criticism, do not take it personal. If it's positive, it's a lesson, there's a lesson to be learned there, maybe. But especially if the criticism is negative, it's not about you. It's about the person who's initiating the attack. So what you have to do is react with love, not with ego. When you react with ego, it's because you're letting your amygdala dictate your actions. Because ego is nothing else than fear in disguise. We talked about that in the first strategy. When you react with ego, you're gonna try to defend yourself. You're gonna try to say, "Oh, this person doesn't know what they're doing," and you start fighting. When you start fighting with that person trying to defend yourself, what you're doing is you're lowering your conscious awareness to the level of what the attacker is doing, and you're not helping anybody. What we have to do as spiritual beings is we have to grab a helping hand to the person that are below you, that are behaving below you. Nobody's below you, by the way. To the person that is behaving below you, so you can raise their awareness to your level, so they can have a better life. So in fact, what you have to, when you start feeling anger, remember it's your ego. When you start feeling sad, it's your ego. And you're taking it personal. When you apply this lesson, you start reacting with love. When you start reacting with love, you start realizing this person is having a terrible moment in their life. Probably what I'm doing or what I am achieving is poking in something that they wanted to do that they haven't done before. And for them to make them feel themselves better, they start putting false testimonies against you so that they don't have to look at their own failures. So never take it personal. In fact, don't even, when you have a massive attack, especially in the internet, where everybody feels empowered to say whatever they want because there is not a face behind it. When that happens, guys, don't take it personal. Just start feeling sorry about the people that are doing this to you, because they are the ones that need help. It's very important. Having said that, let's move to number three. The last one, but probably the most important one, is when everything is said and done, dust off the dirt from your feet and move on. So what does that mean? In the New Testament, when Jesus was teaching his disciples to go and spread the good news, spread the word about eternal life, about being saved again, he mentioned criticism to his disciples, and Jesus said to them, when you go to a town and you experience criticism, deliver your message, leave the town, and as soon as you leave the town, dust off the sand and the dirt off your feet and move on. What that means is basically acknowledge that you were criticized, acknowledge that these people might need time to go to the next level in their spirituality, and then forget about it and move on in your life and keep growing and keep achieving. If you do that, then nothing will stop you. There is many people that are on their way up, and as soon as they start getting criticized, they get so scared, they get so offended, they take it so personal that they stop. And then when that happens, the persons that are criticizing you win. But actually they don't win, we both lose. Because if you keep growing and you dust off the sand of your feet, if you dust off the dirt of your feet and you keep growing, this person that criticized you before is going to realize that their criticism has no effect in you, so they will start analyzing what they are doing wrong in their life. So it's very important. I remember about 5 years ago, I won an entrepreneur award for innovation in technology, and we sent the award article to our technology center in where I live, in the KW Triangle technology area. The organization is called Communitech, and it's a start tech innovator. It's a tech hub. So we send it to them to tell them, hey, look, we came from you guys and now we're winning awards. And so what they did is they made a tweet with the award, and the tweet went viral. We received thousands of likes on Twitter and thousands of retweets, and then people started criticizing me on Twitter. And I felt like it was horrible. I felt like my heart went down 6 feet under. I felt like I was getting crushed, and it was racist, and it was bad. One of the persons even said, "This guy, we're not both here, so he needs to go home." And I'm like, come on, guys, we just promote the awards to inspire other people to achieve better, to achieve higher, right? It doesn't come from ego. It doesn't come from trying to feel other people bad. It just actually what we're trying is try to raise people's awareness so they can get inspired to achieve their goals. But it really hurt me because I didn't know how to handle criticism. So then what I did is, funny enough, our director of marketing, Jonathan, he has a recording studio on the side, and he has many thousands of people follow him on Instagram. So he receives all kinds of criticism all the time. So when he releases a new song, he has many good likes, but also many bad likes, right? And there is always critics. So he is the one that told me this lesson. When I was going through this trouble, when I first got criticized on Twitter, he said, don't take it personal. In fact, he said, look at what other celebrities are doing in this area and start trying to follow their strategy. And that's exactly what I did. So it took about a week for me to start feeling better again. But then I developed this beautiful way of don't take anything personal, and think about them with love and compassion instead of hating them for what they were saying about me. Another example, somebody about 3 years ago started emailing our corporate website saying that David Mansilla doesn't even speak good English, he shouldn't be here, he's the worst developer in the world, his people are deceivers. And we got 3-4 emails from the contact form page on the website, and we were like, oh my God, who is this? Like, what's going on? And I got all scared. And then I thought, I made a reunion with the project managers and said, guys, do we have a client that we owe him something, or did we do anything wrong to somebody so that they are doing this anonymously? But nobody said anything, because honestly, in our company, we have this belief: we're willing to bleed out of business in order to make a client happy. We're willing to take ourselves advantage from our clients before we let them hang in. That's why we choose our clients very carefully. We don't work for anybody. We just work for people with the right values. So after I realized this, then I said, oh my God, maybe this is a competitor, or maybe this is an applicant that wanted to work in the company that didn't make it. And then I remembered the Twitter criticism, and then what I did is apply these 3 rules. Guys, within 24 hours, I dust off my feet, I forgot about it, and I kept moving on. So please, start applying these strategies in your life. Keep growing, but know, as you grow and you become more popular, you're gonna get more criticism. So be ready for it, because criticism is actually a sign that you're growing. So until the next week, love you guys, and stay on high state. Cheers.